What's up, though, everybody, and thanks for tuning in to Fill Your Cup podcast. It's your hostess, it's your boys, tuned in as usual. You already know what the deal is. So, what's good, y'all?
Professor Ill Will, Tyler's Wellness, we in the building, man. What's going on, world?
Getting ready to fill our cups with not just some knowledge, but also some tea.
You already know.
What's the flavor of the day we got today?
Let's pour up. Let's pour up
Pour it up.
See if y'all can.
Pour it up.
All right.
See what we can.
Yeah,
colors.
see what y'all come up
All
with.
right, let's see. But yeah, guys, how was your week?
Crushing it, man. Good week, man. It's good to be alive, man.
Good to be alive.
In the present.
Live in the present. A lot of things are going on.
Are you drinking any?
No, I'm not drinking any tea today. Got me my water.
Okay.
But yeah, a lot of things are going on across the board. But before we get into all that stuff, man, let's go ahead and set the intention. The intention for today is basically what I want to talk about today is overcoming addiction. Most importantly, overcoming pornography addiction. So, set our cups up. Go ahead and toast.
Toast them
Set
up.
that intention.
My boy got the water.
Ting. Yes.
All right. So, do y'all know the flavor?
Not just yet. I know it's hot.
Right.
Hot as heck.
Said I can smell a little bit of ginger.
That lavender. It's lavender in there. Lavender smells so good. It reminds me of detergent. But like a good detergent is very hot.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, basically a lot of things are going on. I mean, shit. From different variants coming out, which I ain't gonna speak too much about because censorship is very high on the priority of the government these days. So it's
You've
hard
seen
to
that lately, right?
A lot of
Things have been
censorship.
getting
A lot of
censored.
censorship. I look at like my Facebook memories from back in 2011, 2012. And the shit I was saying back then, I'm like, oh, you'd have been censored. You would have been censored. You would have been taken off. I even posted a picture of a, it's an ancient Hinduic, I don't know what this is. I want to say it's an ancient Hindu law or principle or something like that. But basically it looks like the swastika or the, swastika, not the swastika. But the Nazi symbol.
Yeah,
the Nazi symbol.
I think I've seen that one the opposite way though.
Yeah, so it's interesting. And I just look at 2015. This one's a little different. And just like, damn, censorship is so high these days, man. It's crazy. And then the fact that NYC is popping off right now. They got their mandated vaccine passports.
Oof.
So you definitely see what society's slowly moving to. And I don't want to get too much into it. But I think it's important that everyone exercises their constitutional rights and most importantly know what you're dealing with and do the knowledge. As old rappers used to say, do the knowledge. It's like a thing that's commonly said in New York. You guys familiar with Clarence the 13X?
No.
Who was that? One more time.
Clarence the 13X?
Nah.
He's pretty much he used to be affiliated with Malcolm and the Nation of Islam. But then you guys heard of 5 Percenters?
Yeah. I have
Okay,
heard
he's the creator of 5
percenters.
Percenters.
Oh, really?
And so that's a thing that they used to say in New York, do the knowledge, how they used to talk.
You used to be a 5%er, didn't you?
Who, did I?
Yeah.
No. I have a guy that I used to kick it with a little bit through Wing Chun. He was a 5%er.
Yeah.
And they used to always have the lingo. It was dope.
Yeah.
I respect it, man. I respect it because it was like they had their street clothes, but at the same time they were still knowledgeable. And you see a big influence on, rappers like Nas. Hell, even Pac. You see Joey Badass, Rakim, of course, Erykah Badu, singer, a lot of that stuff. So, big influence. But anyways, man, so we want to talk about, because it's a separate topic, we want to talk about the addiction of pornography, man. And most importantly, our personal experiences and how we can help you overcome busted nuts or even playing with your lips. And for our lady listeners out there, you know what I'm talking about. So, I think this is important, man, just because it is an addiction. It's a big addiction in Western culture because that's what we are submerged into, Western culture. So, go ahead and we're going to talk about a little bit about overcoming. What is it? And maybe some interesting stories.
All right, yeah, pornography, man. It's America is known for it, man. I feel like we're big Hollywood, and it's in the movies.
Porn in the movies?
Well, I mean the sex culture. You know, there's always sex
what
culture in
movie
the
you
movies.
watching?
In the pornography movies, yeah. It's in those.
This nigga almost spit on my water, man.
But you know, Van Nuys, California, you know they're making all that stuff over there, man.
The Hollywood culture is something else, man.
80s, man, all this stuff, man. So I definitely feel that's where we probably got a lot of our kind of like sex culture picked up, and I think it's misportrayed. You know, they kind of know that like sex sells, and just it sells because just like how Spencer was saying, it's something that's addictive. You know, cigarettes, sweet sugary foods, anything that's gonna give you that instant gratification. You know,
So there's something wrong with busting nuts.
nah, there's nothing wrong with it. It's a natural thing. It's a natural thing.
Okay.
You know, but I just feel like sex is definitely over portrayed, and it's not the sacred act that it should be. We got a spider over here.
It's like he's floating.
Like
Tyler,
I was like, what?
Tyler's got arachnophobia like me as well.
Man, especially if it's chilling near your
I was about to say,
face,
I was I ain't lying. Everybody, I know I'd be tripping
you know,
like a floating spider.
It's a small guy, but
We outdoors as usual.
It looked like he was flying.
I know it
thought
did.
It was like
I
a
did.
mosquito or something.
I thought it was mosquito too.
but
Yeah.
man. I think it's just got a. It's a toxic thing, and it's in the society, and it's disrupting the minds of young people and giving them unidealistic view of sex.
Yeah, I think so. I know back when I was a young lad, back when I was a teenager, man, busting nuts and shit. And like, even in my 20s, you know, busting nuts, man. I think it's like it's a dopamine release. And, you know, sometimes I think the biggest thing that everyone can relate to is you might be on like that no fat, or you might go months without watching porn, right? And then it's like it's calling you, and you're like, okay, let me just watch. And then you watch, and then you always gotta go to the right video. You might be like, chick might be getting pounded missionary style the way you like it, but you just like, nah, I'm gonna try something else. Let me see it hit it from. I want to see the ass clap from the back real quick. And then you go back to missionary, you're like, damn, let me go and bust my nut. I've been on this shit for like an hour. And then you bust your nut, and then you be like, fuck, why'd I bust my nut? Why'd I do that? It was like the worst feeling in the world when you bust a nut and you just know you shouldn't be busting nuts. And then you gotta clean your shit up, and then you wanna take a piss afterwards. Or sometimes you just might fall asleep and just change your underwear, and you be like, I'm going to sleep. And you bust your nut. You feel good. But then the next morning, you like, fuck. I know it's times when I would bust my nuts, man. I'd be like, the next morning, I'm like, I know I'm
tired,
lost.
bro.
You tired. You just feel like
that hard workout you're gonna do today is suffering.
It suffers, man. Yeah, testosterone, you feel low. You just like, damn.
Yeah, you lowered your testosterone.
It sucks, man. And the biggest thing is, you know, like you said, the Hollywood culture. A lot of the culture, sex sells, man. You go on my Instagram, I'll see pictures of my shirt off, and I'll be like, oh, that got me like post a picture about something that's
some nutritional,
or something that's motivational. 500, like fuck. But yeah, man, I think pornography is interesting thing. I think in a culture that is influenced so much by pornography, there is a degenerate culture, and I think a lot of times that it's like you almost can control people. Like through not through pornography, but through sex. It's so easy because it's in our primal nature.
Oh yeah.
I mean, kind of a little bit of sex transmutation, you know?
Yeah.
With that desire, that urge, and then you instantly transmuted it into whatever you chose to release it as. You know, some people, they're like, oh, well, let me go create something, I guess, you know, and start building, right? Or whatever they want to do, like build a business or whatever. Others, you know, it's like you go release, you got to go bust your nut, you know? It is what it is. But, you know, again, you feel that desire. It's a natural desire. And it's up to you to choose what to do in that moment. So you can be, like, conscious and be like, well, I don't really want to go watch porn or bust a nut right now. So let me go be productive. Or let me go do something with this energy, you know, rather than, you know what we're saying.
Literally jacking off, wasting your time.
Yeah.
It really is, man. I mean, like, you bust.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Right, you bust your nut, you release, and then you just like, okay, there I go. And then you regret it, man. I think that's the biggest thing when I was like doing that shit, you know. I was like, and I had a unique way of beating my beat. I I didn't do
really
a conviction. I had a very unique way. Which I ain't gonna go too much detail, man. That's for the X-rated podcast, man. That's for OnlyFans, man. I'm charging $30 per minute. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, exactly. Like that's some only podcast, only fan shit. But anyways, you know, you regret it. I think that was my biggest gripe with masturbation is you regret it afterwards, and you're just like, why did I do it? And you might go months without releasing, and then boom, you're going to release because whatever. And then also easily accessible. You can go OnlyFans, see chicks get pounded out. You could go on like Pornhub, just like that. Just like that.
You don't even have to go to OnlyFans.
That's true, just like that.
Just Google search.
But I remember back when I was younger, I used to go on homemade sex videos. And that was my website I would go to.
Man, bro. You just brought back some memories, man.
I used to go to that. I used to watch X videos, X hamsters, all that shit. And so, yeah, you know, nowadays it's like, man, it's easily accessible, man. And now you can see the culture just, man. But the thing about it is it's demonized a lot. And I think if we were to open up more about the importance, but most importantly, like the reality of masturbation and releasing and sex, this culture would be a lot more. It'll be farther along. You know, this culture is really like they don't like sex, but they market sex. You know what I mean? Like you look at the church, how much they're against it, and then you look at like pop culture, they market sex to you all the time.
Right, and you got a little bit of a parallel, like sex, or are you gonna
exactly.
Are you gonna be religious, or are you gonna be with the general public? And
exactly. So it's weird.
And it's like you go to church and then you feel bad.
Then so it's so weird. You know what I mean? How do you balance the two out? And that's why I see a lot of people just making. You see a lot of the no fap shit now, like a lot of it, like semen retention.
No fap, semen retention.
Yeah. I think that's a good thing. You know, the discipline. I don't think it's good for males to bust nuts all the time. Because you lose a certain amount. You know, like with a woman, she's taking in that energy. You know what I mean? The erection is pointing. I mean, you're getting that blood flowing, energy is going in that way. Then you want to release. You know what I mean? The woman takes that release, and then she feels great. You just like, okay, I feel good. Nas said in the song, Nas was like ejaculatory depression. And then he was like, after you I nut, don't touch me.
Right.
And I remember feeling those times too.
And you always see it in the, Hollywood.
Yeah.
Afterwards, you're smoking cigarettes or like something to boost them up. Coffee,
yeah.
And it's like, man.
It's interesting, man. Like, I remember, not to get too personal, but, smashing some chicks back when I was younger. And then I'd be like, why the fuck did I do that?
And you gave them that energy.
And I'm just like, why'd I do that? And I didn't want to talk to them anymore.
Energy exchange.
Yeah, it's so weird, man. It's not even weird, man. It's just what it is, man.
It's like the Avatar.
The movie.
The movie.
Yeah, exactly, dude.
But we messed it up.
Yeah.
We don't do it like that.
We don't do it like that. Because it's like I said, man, they were just more in tune. But, yeah, man, pornography, the addiction to pornography is very much real, man. But I'm glad we're having this conversation. Because, I mean, like, it brought back memories to, like, back when you were younger, like,
I remember one store in particular, growing up, and it was like we walked through this town, small town, Decatur, Michigan. If you know, you know. We'll walk down this super small town, and there's one store. They got like stuff on the windows, like adults, something I can't remember the name, but like, oh, that's the movie store. You'll sit back, you'll watch people go in there or something, your friends like, hey, look, there's stuff in there. We should try to do that. And I remember that. But I remember that stuff started getting phased out. I remember they changed the store and everything kind of got more online rather than videotapes and
remember the
all this type of
videotapes?
stuff. We had VHSs, I think that's
That's crazy.
It went to like CDs, then everything was on the internet. And
easily accessible.
It's just crazy stuff, man. To see the evolution of it,
and it's right in your hand now.
Right in your hand, super easy.
Like I remember,
I have to be 18 and everything. Go to the store.
Yeah, you can just go on your phone. Open that incognito tab.
Young dog can just see whatever.
Right.
If you don't got the child lock on there.
I used to have them be on my Gateway. I don't know if you guys remember Gateway computers.
Yeah,
The Gateway.
Dell, right?
Yeah,
Dell.
Was it with Dell?
Dell
I think it was
Gateway.
before.
Dell.
Oh, really?
I think it became Dell.
Yeah, I think it became Dell. It was Gateway before.
Mm.
And I had my little Gateway computer with the little cow looking symbol, whatever. And I used to be on that. Y'all remember that dial-up shit?
Dial up.
Y'all remember dial-up? I was on dial-up.
I think I missed that one. Just
looking up.
I was right at the end of that. Just about right at the end. Like, oh, okay. Yeah, it's taking forever though.
Dial-up was
it's
shit.
taking forever.
And then you know what I would look up at times too? Was hentai.
Hentai, bro.
Yes.
Yeah, bro.
I remember when I was young, being a kid, man, I was like, oh, I want to see Boma and Chi-Chi. You know, back that's what people like, Boma and Chi-Chi. But it was like I said, man, that it's almost like you shouldn't do it, but it's like as a kid, you like, I want to do it because I've been told I shouldn't do it.
Yeah.
And you want to know.
It's like the opposite effect.
Exactly.
It's restricted, so now you want it even more. You know, the cheat meal, and now you're on a diet, super strict diet, and now you want the super cheat meal, cheat day. And
yeah, so like the war on drugs. Back when it was on marijuana.
Right.
Everybody wanted to smoke marijuana. Now it's legalized. Like, oh, okay. It's more accessible. But that is still, they know what the fuck they be doing, man.
alcohol prohibition.
Yeah.
You know, they went and banned the alcohol and it got more expensive. People wanted it more.
Wow.
Alcohol is banned? Really? Let's go find some.
Yeah.
Let's have fun.
Man, they know our behavioral patterns so much, man. It's so crazy. Like, damn.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, what do you guys think about, you know, just the overall pornography addiction and like, what do you guys recommend for people to stop being, not stop being, but to minimize their addiction? And, because I almost answered the question. Yeah, what do you guys think?
Well, I can say I can relate, man. I've watched the stuff. I've been, you know, doing my thing. And, you know, the problem is when you do it too much, man. If you do it too much, you'll start to have, like, an addiction, you know. I'd always hear them, like, oh, like, a sex addiction or a pornography addiction. I was like, man, that sounds bad. I probably should be smart enough to not do it that much and understand, you know, it's a bad thing. So... but I definitely have been there, man. And, you know, you just got to think about what you're doing, man. Is this really good for your health? You know, sometimes it's good for a release, but are you doing it so much that it's detracting from your success? You know, you're so tired and now you don't want to get up and do other things that are exciting as well. Yep. You know, real things that actually hold, you know, resonance and are going to give you, you know, build your character and build your skill and make you a better individual. You know, are you using your energy and your time efficiently? Or is it something that's slowing you down? So, yeah, that's what I can say. I mean, to overcome, I mean, hey, man, you know, work on your game, man. Get out there and socialize. Get around some ladies, you know. I think it's more of anything is just being, you know, a little bit of sexual interaction. It doesn't have to be going on the internet. It can just be like, hey, hanging out with some lady friends or doing something in a social setting more. So, yeah, I mean, that's just something, I guess, yeah, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
What you think, Tyler?
Oh, definitely. It's definitely something that I feel because of the fact that there was like such a huge like block in the past. Like, you know, like you have a certain section in the family video store that's like blocked off, you know, and it's like, oh, what's over there? And he says, no, you can't come in until you're old enough, you know. You're like, what's that? You know, you start building curiosity around it from such a young age, and then all of a sudden, then it's like super accessible to you. So obviously, it can be something that people get into because you were curious and you start searching it up, and now again accessible from just your phone, like quick search.
Man.
But to overcome that, you know, you got to ask yourself, like, why is it that you feel that you need that right now? And also bringing attention and awareness to that feeling that we say happens afterwards. You know, after you do have your release, do you really feel good? Was it everything that you thought it was going to be when you were like, let me just real quick, you know? Because if it wasn't, then one, you wasted your time there. Two, now you probably like feel drained of your energy and want to sleep or just lay around and do nothing. And then the rest of your day is pretty much just like whatever resulted of that feeling. So like realistically, like you can ask yourself, like, do you want to feel that way or not? And kind of just work with just like what feels good to you.
Yeah, and I think for me, overcoming the. I'm trying to sit and think. Was I addicted? Um, yeah, I guess you gotta define addiction. From my perspective, I don't think I was ever addicted to porn. Uh, yeah, but to overcome it, I just occupied my mind with more things that would be more conducive to me.
Mm-hmm.
What I do now, I don't have time for that shit. And then when you get in a relationship, you know, it's just like it's accessible to you at all times. At all times. I think the biggest thing I could tell anybody is find something that you love to do besides beating your meat and rubbing your clit. Start finding things that's more meaningful, that's more of value to you. Like maybe you want to move up in sales when you're working at a car dealership. And so you start studying that, you start working with that, working on your charisma, working on your social skills, and you become so obsessed with things that, you forget about beating your meat at 9:30. You just focusing on reading and you going to sleep. So I think that's the biggest thing I did to overcome watching pornography. Sometimes I still test myself though, just to see if I will still fall into that loop. And the biggest thing is when I know I'm overcoming something is the fact that I can put it in my face and be like, oh, okay, I don't feel the urge to. So definitely find an obsession outside of that instant release, either through music, fitness, forming your business, going to school, getting in a relationship. And that's on a whole nother separate. That's on a separate topic too. You don't still, for males, busting nuts and being in a relationship, because I still think that you shouldn't bust nuts all the time. Hold that shit dearly. I mean, you think about it, sex is really just used to reproduce.
Yeah,
I mean,
true.
when you bust a nut, like boom. You know what I mean? I do not agree with birth control whatsoever.
Oh no.
When I'm dating my girl, she knows she's not the type of person to take it anyway. But I would never, hell no. I remember messing with this chick, like my mid-20s. Man, this chick had a birth control in her arm. I was like, what the fuck? They call it I'm gonna call it an IED. But
I think it's a different place.
It's like little.
It's like a chip or something, huh?
Yeah. I think, or is it IFD? One of those.
Something
that
affects your hormones. That's why it's really not good for women, because it's gonna affect your hormones.
Your hormones.
I've heard stories of women who
Yes.
take birth control and then they'll go out dating, meet a guy, and then stop taking the birth control, and because your hormones change, they'll stop liking the guy. They won't like the same person, and it changes who you're attracted to.
That's real, and then shit, you never know, it can make you, more susceptible to infertility.
Yeah, true.
I don't know.
Could be messing with your organs and all that type of stuff.
You just don't know with everything. They're constantly experimenting on people did vaccine, but yeah. So like you just gotta be careful with everything, man. So
I was listening to one guy on Instagram, just to bring it back to like the male. And this black dude, I forget his name, but he be going in like on some 5%er shit.
Oh, what's his name?
Man, I forget. I'll show you him on my feed. Maybe I can tag him in the episode. But
damn,
he was talking about it like, yeah, you can't release your seed. It was kind of the first time I had heard about like semen retention, and he was kind of explaining like, yeah, like this is your nutrients. That's why you feel like that. You're giving nutrients, vitamins, energy, and you're giving your copies to your partner, and when you just throw them away, it's just wasting it. You gathered all that energy, all that stored energy, and you just dumped it off, where you could just keep all that inside of you, and you'll have that much energy. You have that much more energy, And then even the whole sex exchange, you got to make sure that you're having sex with the right person. Make sure that it's sacred sex.
It's powerful. Right there,
and because that the other person that you're interacting with, if you're really high up here and you're just messing with like lower vibration, that's gonna bring you down. That's gonna bring the other individual up. That goes for men and women, So make sure you're in the right relationship. Make sure you're having sex with the right people, with the right person. But yeah, that's just a little bit of stuff, just on the energy side. Affects why you should not do it.
And you know, porn has been with us since the dawn, man.
Yeah, I remember. I think I saw like cavemen, and they kind of
All of that stuff. You see it even in feudal Japan during that era, the Sengoku area. You see a lot of depictions of sex.
Geishas and
kemet. That sex was prevalent through there, man. So you see the culture. I think a lot of times with the European, with Western culture, the church became so involved with the rise of Catholicism, or the Catholic Church. I'm gonna say the rise of the Catholic Church, and then its approach to sex and all that stuff, which is very, very interesting. Those principles, like, I want to go too outside of it, but like the process of circumcision, how that's linked to like church and religion, all that stuff. Like, you see European civilization having this duality perspective when it comes to sex, religion, and all these different things. I think if we were more open as society with sex and the reality of it, and becoming more not acceptable, but just more aware of our bodies, knowledgeable about our bodies and stuff like that.
You made me think about like the Kama Sutra.
Yeah, the Kama Sutra, stuff like that, man.
You want it like that,
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. You know what I mean? But I think when you have a culture that's not knowledgeable, that's been like misinformed, brainwashed to just think like this is what it is. Like, that's why you have these issues now. And I think pornography, man, it's just fucking this culture up. It's tearing this culture up. It's so toxic as what it is. And it makes you like, you see, man, like, you remember, I won't say you remember, but you'll watch these scenes and then I never was that person. You'll think like that, or you'll try to behave like that, or you be like, and you might be with a chick, or you might be with a guy, whatever, and you might be doing the same thing. And it's just like, it desensitizes you to this stuff, to reality.
Yeah.
Like, come on now. Right. You think this guy's gonna be in your guts for 2 hours of 45 minutes? Like, no. Like, it's just, it's not
on
real.
you.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I seen some chicks that actually like that shit. Not me experiencing them, but chicks talk about that, which is very interesting. But I think that's just, once again, it's one of those.
I even think I seen Trey Songz did it. Spit in some girl's mouth.
That's what I heard, man. I'm telling you. That's why I think if we were more open about it and discussed it, we will figure out these things. But man, that's a whole nother topic right there, dog. Like, that's interesting.
Yeah, man. I can't really speak to the whole nofap. Semen retention is not really my area of expertise, but I can say that it all comes down to dopamine, man.
Mm-hmm.
And you're getting that instant gratification once again by watching porn, doing your thing, mounting the manticore just to keep it clean. This is a family podcast. Mounting the manticore, and it's dopamine, man. You get that instant gratification. It's like ice cream. Ice cream when you could just have like sugar cane, and you had to, break it down, or potato chips or fast food, So giving you too much dopamine, and then the thing is, when you're a kid, it's very easy to like get lost in a day reading a book or doing something very simple, playing outside. But now that we're adults, we got this whole worldwide web around us, and there's many things at your disposal. You can go and grab cheeseburgers, there's ice cream, there's alcohol, there's cigarettes, there's sex, there's drugs, movies that you can just binge watch on Netflix and give you this super high dose of dopamine, and now you go to read a book and you're like, oh, this is boring, I can't do this. Or, oh, it's time to build a business, oh, I don't feel like doing that, I'd rather eat some ice cream, Halo Top. And it's just, when you can kind of detoxify and limit that stuff in your life, it's going to give you more grounded connection, and the simplest things are going to be like, oh wow, this is fun. You're going to get the rush from it again, building a business, learning about a new skill, developing yourself, and it gets easier to do the harder things. It gets easier to resist that temptation. You get more into the flow of it, and you think about it, it might pass your mind. You might be like, oh, yeah, I could do that, but I'd rather do this. I'd rather use my energy. I got my energy stores, and save that energy and use it and put it in the right place and creative, and turn it into something creative. Tyler, he had mentioned, what is it? Transmutation, sexual transmutation, and that's Napoleon Hill. And I think he was kind of getting to the same concept of like dopamine, honestly, because you know, that feeling of, you know, that sexual gratification, that urge, that's all energy that you could be putting into something else. And yeah, I just feel like if you can kind of transmutate that, shift that energy into something else, it's going to be much more beneficial for your health, for your career, for your goals, and it's gonna help you to not be addicted to that stuff.
And as we mentioned before too, you want to occupy your mind with other things that are better for you. And so at one point, that addictive trait, you know, masturbation or anything else, you know, any kind of habit that becomes addictive, like smoking, or at one point, there was an activity that you took part in, and then you found pleasure in it, and then you found more times during your day that you could add that in. So you have to, during some point of your day, find a new activity to try that you find pleasure in, and then find more times during your day where you can add that activity in, and then all of a sudden you have a new quote-unquote addictive habit. It can be something good like jump ropes or anything, you know, physical activity, or, you know, reading a book again, like, because you find small enjoyment and you slowly put it into your life in place of those other habits, and then you don't have time to do, you know, your masturbation or anything else. So find other things that you can do instead that will move you towards your goals. Find ways that you can add that in throughout your day and slowly introduce it like a drug.
Yeah, man. Become addicted to good shit.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, you made me think, you know, all it is the problem with it, the main problem with it is because you're rewiring your brain to do a certain thing. You know, every time you know, watch that stuff, you know, you get that thought in your head and you get the sensation, the feelings from it, and your brain kind of is like, okay, ones and zeros, you know, this is good. It's not, your brain is like, this is good or this is bad. It's not thinking about the consequences of addiction and health and, oh, my energy and all this stuff. Is just like, is this good or is it bad? And when you're training yourself to do something that's giving you a feeling of feeling good, you're training the brain to say, okay, this is a one, this is a go, do it. So by not doing it, finding other things to retrain your brain to make yourself feel good, that yes can be, like Tyler said, reading a book, doing something positive, and you can kind of rewire your brain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's all about, like I said, for me, just finding ways to occupy your mind with something a little bit more that of value. Busting nuts is not of value. You're gonna probably feel like shit afterwards, and you're gonna probably regret it, and you're gonna be like, why the hell did I do that? And it's just gonna be a constant reset. That's how it was for me at times. Like you go weeks, months, and then you do it, you break, and you're like, fuck, and then it's almost like in your mind, you're like, I gotta form that habit again and not doing it. It's just like, man, so for people that do it a lot, man, I'm amazed if you can do that like almost every day. Definitely try to find ways to occupy your mind. And I think when Will touched on the no fap, I don't know why I say dopamine and I say no fap. But anyway, so like I remember reading a book a while ago. There's a book called The Tao of Sex. I can't remember what it's called, but I think it was even before that. But I know a lot of Taoists and a lot of the practitioners of Chinese philosophy used to talk about semen retention and being a vegetarian and how you can elevate beyond the animalistic or the primal nature of who we are. And I think that's what's so dope about the human experience, is the fact that we can rise above the animalistic nature and become these higher light beings.
Yeah.
And so when you think about busting or whatever, you know, that's our primal nature. So if you can rise above that, you're gonna feel a lot more rewarded because it's that value, and you're not like everyone else. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think that's our interesting dissertation on pornography and overcoming the addiction of pornography, most importantly. But I just want to say this before we close out too, man. Don't beat yourself up if you struggle with that, and if you feel like you want to make an effort to improve this thing that you're going through, then bring it down to twice a week, and then go from there once a week, and then once you start to maneuver your way, now stop doing it, and then there you go. But I believe once you occupy your mind with something more positive, that value will change. So, anything else you guys want to add?
Sort of like how you just said, lessening your time that you do it. Make sure that when you are trying to lessen it, you're focusing your mind on putting something else in that place. Because if you don't have something to default to, eventually you'll be sitting around. You might have thought you beat it for like a couple months, didn't do anything, and all of a sudden something that was your trigger before sparks up, and then you go back into it, but you didn't place other habits in its place, right? So that's why you default back into it. Again, this is stuff that you'll learn after you keep trying, and you figure out, like, again, it's okay to fall off sometimes as long as you get back on. But again, just look out for those pitfalls, because everyone has them. It happens all the time. And like Spence said, don't beat yourself up if it happens. Just get back on the horse and let's go.
Yeah, and then just to add into that, you made me think, it's just like, you're doing really good and you're doing your thing. Watch those triggers, It might not be the pornography that's, like, getting you. It might be, the drinking that you're doing. And now you have the cheat meal when you were supposed to be on your nutritional diet. Now you didn't sleep at night. And now you're watching Netflix. And then things just kind of keep rolling and cascading. And boom, you'll find out. It's just like you keep falling down, domino effect, So the more that you can limit this, the more you'll stay on track. And it'll be easier to not do it. It'll be easier to continue doing your same thing, continuing your discipline.
And before I go ahead and close this out, there's a documentary. If you have Netflix, go ahead and check out Hot Girls Wanted. Definitely opened up my mind about pornography and how they treat young women on there. And you're going to be really disgusted. At the same time, you're going to be massively aware of what happens in porn industry, the takes it takes, the sexual transmitted diseases that can happen. A lot of these young women are exploited, even though they chose this route, but they were looking for an easy way out to feed perhaps their children, their family, or some of them just genuinely enjoy it. I'm not here to judge whether you enjoy it or not, whatever the fuck you do, because that's not my life. But I'm going to just say, definitely check out that documentary, Hot Girls Wanted, on Netflix. It talks about teenage women, early 20 women, and how they're treated in the industry. Mm-hmm. So check that out. With that, guys, man, that was a good-ass podcast. Man, a round of applause. Go ahead and, listeners, give us that round of applause. Go ahead and do that for us real quick. And we got some viewers out here now. We got some turkeys.
Oh, hey, look.
Oh, nice.
So, got the whole family out there. So, yeah, man, we're loving the view. I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast as usual, baby. We're dropping jewels, dropping whatever, man. Most important, we're dropping our experiences so we can relate. Anything else, guys, you want to say? I
say we did to him, man. I think we gave him a pretty good philosophy here. Something to live by, man.
Mm-hmm. Don't bust nuts. Or rub a click. Stop doing that shit.
Find other ways to make yourself a priority.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, guys, with that, go ahead, leave us a 5-star review on this podcast, man. If you let us know if you liking it, drop some comments. Let us know what you want to hear us talk about next. Professor Ill Will, New Wave Coaching. You can't change the waves, but you can learn to surf. So learn to surf. And we'll see you next week, man.
Tyler Wellness here, helping open-minded individuals turn their talents and skills into income. So feel free to reach out. The Talent Income Academy. Make yourself a paycheck.
I'm being shocked. I don't know what this shit is.
Oh, man.
It's my powers. Boom! I got superpowers now.
I see it.
It's your boy. Faiska. Taking one step at a time. Boy, I'm in your mama.
Oh, man.
I'm just playing, y'all. It's your boy Spencer Crosby, a.k.a. Faiska. I'll catch you guys next podcast. Enjoy. Have a great weekend, because we shooting on a Friday. Until then, peace. And that shit.